Good afternoon, Leroy. How are you? This is a little weird for you. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. A noon podcast. What are we doing with our lives? Are we this busy?
See,
Yes, yes, we are.
yes. It's a little weird because my lighting in my office is always obviously the same because usually we record at 9 o'clock local time. So usually
Yeah.
I have a window right here that I don't have to worry about. So now I've got this kind of weird, like I don't even know what to do. I might
You
even
look
just do
like
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a light, and I was thinking if I'm about turning it on, but I think I'm just going to turn it off. I think it's probably the best way to do it. It's not like anybody really wants to see our faces, anyways, right? It's probably the best if we just completely turn it off. But how you doing? I know everybody's a little busy.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I had a big doubleheader last night. College basketball. University of Illinois Springfield took on Drury University. Found out that Drury women have the highest winning percentage of any Division II school. Period. And boy, they came in and they gave UIS everything that they had, but UIS played a really good game. Got to interview the head coach. I never get nervous for interviews. I absolutely got nervous interviewing her. I just seemed a little bit intimidating, but we got through it, and she was awesome. She was great. She was good to talk to. It was funny because she was talking about how they had lost to a team that was 0-9 previously. They lost to Lake Superior State, and they said that is not indicative of our program. And we ran a lot. She goes, they made 25 of 27 free throws against
Oh
Drury,
wow.
which helped them pick up the win. And then the men picked up a big win as well. So double sweep for the win, and awesome time, and excited to be able to do those broadcasts and be able to have those moments.
I know that it's kind of funny. Speaking of the interview role, is I did a game last year for college, and center played, and they won. I don't really remember the details of it. The details don't necessarily matter, but they won in a 5 to 10 point game or something like that. And it was funny. They go through the handshake, and I'm getting ready to wrap up, and the SID slides his headset off, which is not who is my color analyst. That's not uncommon for him to have done. So I was getting ready to jump into what usually is about a minute long post game show, and he puts the headset, and all of a sudden the coach walks over and puts the headset on, and I'm like, "Hi!" He's like, "Oh, we're doing our interview now, right?" And I'm like, yes, of course. So I'm like, because usually, during the game, I'm prepping during high school, at least, okay, I'll ask about this. I had nothing. And this is really the first time I'd ever had a conversation with this coach. Every other time it had been how you doing? And it was just really funny because I didn't know, because you know this kind of in this realm of, the questions that will get your coach talking more than the other questions.
Yes.
And I had no idea what would be his tick to get him talking. So it was just kind of funny that I had to figure it out. And then it was funny because he kind of just was like, okay, I'm done. I was like, oh, okay. Because I had no idea. Did he want 2 questions? Did he want this to be like a 10-minute thing?
Yeah, and I had to interview Coach Quisenberry during halftime of the men's game, the women's basketball.
Oh, wow.
So I had limited time to do it, and it's one of those things where, like, I wanted to make sure that I asked important questions. And the first time I met her, she was suffering through the Lake Superior loss. So, like, it would be like running into me on the day that we were having equipment issues. I get it. Why she seemed a little intimidating. I'd be a little bit frustrated too if I was dealing with that. So it was a much better environment, and very excited. The SID called the monumental win for the program. So a big moment for a much younger basketball team as far as UIS women's goes.
Coming up on our show today, we're going to do it. It's a shorter show. I know that this is the part that's going to be difficult for us, Leroy. As we had talked about, do we want to pre-record this and stream it late? Because I don't know that our friends are going to be watching with us. We have our great listeners that go back and listen, Paul and Daniel and everybody. I don't know that they'll be joining us. So because of that, it's just going to be me and you without having their snarky comments throughout, which might be a good thing. Yes. But we love the snarky comments. But we're going to have our weekly segments. We're going to touch a little bit on the college football playoff. We will go through our logos We'll have our play clock. Do you have drivers or no?
No drivers today.
No drivers. Okay, that's fine. And we'll have our picks of the week. First off, we do want to recap our picks from last week, which I came away with a win 5-4 overall, bringing the overall total to 108 to 94. I'm up 14 here with, and Leroy, I can say this, with 6 weeks left in the pick contest, because I know we agreed that our last pick of the year would be the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So the points are starting to go down, and I think that makes sense to go along with that. So to recap, Grayson County against Logan County. Leroy went with the Grayson County Cougars, and it was Logan County that came away with a 2-point victory, 64-62. Taylorville took on Normal, and normally I would pick Taylorville, but I picked Normal, and Leroy, that was very much the right pick, correct?
It was. It's the most upset I've seen our coach ever, who's very usually calm, cool, and demeanored. He was not pleased with the officiating, but Taylorville was down by 20 in the third quarter, came back, got within 3, but could not pull out the win. So yes, Normal picked up the victory.
Bears versus the Falcons. We both went with the Bears and picked up a point there. Bengals and Chiefs. Leroy went with the Bengals. I went with the Chiefs. I was correct there. Don't need to talk anymore about that game. We both went with Kentucky against Clemson. Don't need to talk anymore about that game.
No.
We'll come back to the college football playoff because I think that'll be a good lead into that. We both went with Miami to beat Rutgers. Nope. Rutgers won. Leroy was the Big Ten homer in the Iowa-Tennessee game. He made me pick Tennessee, and Tennessee won by a couple. 35-0 was the final score of that game. I predicted Ole Miss to beat Penn State. You went with Penn State. I somehow went against my SEC homerism and picked Ohio State to beat Missouri. Good Lord, Ohio State looked awful. Don't blame it on the backup quarterback. Don't blame, like, that was awful. And I very much enjoyed that, though. You picked up the point, though, in picking Missouri. And then the college football playoff, Leroy, you got both of those picks, picking Michigan and Washington. Although if I did say that I primarily predicted Texas because just to be different. I did say that. Because I think that game was so hard to predict. And let's start with that game. And then we can go into your Michigan-Alabama, because did you watch the entire game?
No, the game started at like 10 o'clock at night, man. What are they doing?
So what's funny is, Washington, so you kind of know what happened, though, at the end, that Washington pretty much gave Texas a chance.
Yes.
Because they had the ball where they were going to just be able to throw a knee down and get the heck out of there. So it was to the point where I was like getting up and I was going to the bathroom, getting ready to go to bed for the night. And all of a sudden I hear injured player. That's going to give Texas a chance. And I'm like, what? And because Washington for some reason didn't just kneel. They were handing it off and running their running back, and their running back got hurt. Because of that, they had to take a timeout because it was under the 2 minutes. And technically they would ask the other team, do you want the runoff or do you want the timeout? And they're like, well, we want them to take the timeout. Like, stop the clock without question. So it gave Texas the chance, and Texas had shots at the end zone in the final seconds that would have tied the game, and then an extra point would have won it. 37-31. It was a great football game. I don't know how long you lasted.
And listen, both games were absolutely fantastic football games. Listen, whether you hate the SEC, love the SEC, love the Big Ten, hate the Big Ten, it doesn't matter. Both those games last night were phenomenal football. Or last night, both those games the other night were fantastic football, and really kind of solidified, like, hey, they made the right choices in all those games.
Oh, especially when you watch Georgia do what they did to Florida State. Now, I get it. Florida State had a lot of opt-outs, but my goodness. Georgia could have hung 100 if they wanted to.
Well, and again, Florida said they were skipping the game. They literally meant they were skipping. So what did they say? 28 of the players, or 28 opted out, or something. It was some insane number.
And it was just like, that game was one of those that I had on because I think it might have been the only game on at that point. So I watched pretty much every single play of it. And as it got further and further along, I just got like giddy because it was just like, oh, there they go again. There they go again. because I cheer for the SEC teams for the most part, except for Tennessee, really. So
Yeah.
it's not like I was like, let's go Georgia or anything like that. But it just got to the point where I was like, how much can they score? Because I don't have anything against Florida State. Or heck, our trainer here at the high school is a big Florida State guy, and I'm gonna feel like I need to go up and like give him a hug when I see him today and be like, it's okay. It's okay, Scott.
You had a rough day. You had a rough day.
But and I think the Michigan-Alabama game it wasn't necessarily a pretty game because
both teams shot themselves in the foot way more than it's like they were overthinking. It's like they were trying to outsmart the other team to the point where they were being dumb themselves. That's what it really felt like. Like, y'all are better football teams than this, man. And it just seemed like they were trying to give the other team multiple opportunities to get back. And that's not just a Michigan thing. Alabama was doing the same thing as I mean, that last play, I've ran that play on Madden.
Oh, the run right up the middle?
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. And I mean, you look the Jalen Milroe fumble when, if they go down and score, ball game's probably over there. And then Michigan, I don't know. Do they know how to do special teams up there? Just like, I think I was reading that their special teams were ranked like third in the country coming into that game. Sure as heck didn't look like it. It looked like they replaced them with the Taylorville special teams group. It just really was wild. Awful. And the thing is it really does kind of set up a great championship game. Washington taking on Michigan. If you would have told me that Washington was going to be playing Michigan in the championship at the beginning of this year, I don't know if I necessarily would have believed you too much. Well, see, and it's really funny as well because at the beginning of this year, I guess it would be if I would have told you at the beginning of this year also that Michigan and Washington would be a conference game next season. You probably would have been like, what? Which would you have believed more? Washington, Michigan was a conference game, or Washington, Michigan was the national championship?
National championship. Washington and the Big Ten still sounds so stupid to me, man.
Well, it seems funny because you have two Big Ten teams and two SEC teams in the college football playoff, which was just it's just like seeing Texas is like that was Texas's last game as the Big 12, and now they're an SEC team.
Right.
We're talking about the Alabama game right now, the LSU-Wisconsin game, which is one that I'm surprised that neither one of us chose to pick. Even though I would have. Would you pick Wisconsin?
No. Wisconsin always sucks in bowl games. They really do. They struggle with the big moments. But and the thing is like LSU had moments this year where they really, really dominated, and then there were moments where you just were like, really? You did that? Like, that didn't make any sense.
It's just that LSU's defense all season was awful. I mean, awful.
Yeah.
Awful. And their offense was incredible. I mean, obviously they had the Heisman Trophy winner. Jaden Daniels, very well deserved to as well. And I mean, you look at this Michigan-Washington matchup as well. I mean, Michael Penix he's a dude. Like there's no way to describe it. Like he put on in that game, and they almost lost, not due to his fault.
No, he used to be at U of I, right? Or University.
He was Indiana's quarterback because, and then he had a couple of injuries, and Kalen DeBoer, who is the head coach at Washington, was Indiana's offensive coordinator when they had that stretch 3 or 4 years ago where they were actually really good for Indiana football standards.
Yeah.
And that's when Tom Allen, their now former head coach, got the huge contract extension that I always find funny when schools like that give, and then they're like, wait, you're bad again? Like, what happened? We'll make our pick in the game.
There were a lot of really good bowl games though this season. I mean, sometimes there's some real stinker years where you're just like, but then the bowl committee did a really good job this year. I think there were way more closer bowl games that we cared about this year than in recent years, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, you look the Kentucky game. I don't know if you watched that one. Was a great game. Western's game was great. Thanks,
Western was fantastic.
I watched the Northwestern game. Jerk. You didn't go back and watch it? My goodness.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
I will go back and do that.
Just go back and turn it off with about 3 minutes left, because then Kentucky's winning, and you're thinking, great, Kentucky beat Clemson. Don't watch the last 3 minutes.
Game over.
Ray Davis scores a touchdown, and then Kentucky's defense decided, let's just let them drive down the field. But we're told myself I wasn't going to get worked up with that.
No, we'll give you other things to get worked up, like how the Bengals can't play football anymore.
Says the Bears fan. That I read, I saw the stat that Jordan Love this season his passing yards this year is more than any other Bears quarterback since 1935 or something.
Listen, when Jay Cutler is the greatest quarterback of the Chicago Bears, we have issues. Okay,
that's the wildest thing for a team that has history.
Yes, they've been around forever,
and it's not like they've been great. My husband and I watched that at Hooters. My husband rooted for Kentucky. Yep, as a diehard Kentucky fan, I was very I sent Leroy that Jordan Love stat. You got big man.
And the thing is like, I just don't understand why we can never get that. It's like we're cursed at the quarterback position. But the thing is Patriots fans with Tom Brady are spoiled to the point where no quarterback will ever be good enough again. Right? Like Bailey Zappi or could go in there and have a pretty average season or even above average season. It wouldn't be good enough. Bears fans are the complete opposite, where I feel like they could have Tom Brady and Bears fans would be like, oh, well, he sucks. I'll get somebody in there that can move around. Get somebody in there that can explore the pocket. And it's just one of those things where, like, we're so not used to having a quarterback that I think even if we had a good one, we wouldn't know what to do with it. No, absolutely not. Not a chance.
You want to jump into some logos now, since I know we're going to try and get through the show a little bit quicker today?
Yes.
Let's see. Sarah says Tom Brady had a great team around him most of the time as well, and that is an accurate point as well. So we'll jump in and cue our Leroy's Logos music. If you've never joined into this portion of the segment, I have 3 college logos. Leroy, up. And then of these 3, there is a theme between the 3. Sound good? Yep. Leroy, would you like door number 1, 2, or 3 to open up? Oh wait, you're hitting 2 on the season. 378. You've gotten 49.5 out of a potential 131. Would you like one?
As long as Lindenwood's not in here, we're okay. I will take door number 1.
Door number 1. Interesting factoid about door number 1, because I have the stats in front of me. 1 of your last 9 on door number 1. And again, that means nothing because I don't put them in any particular order. It's just random. So there's door number 1.
Okay. All right.
Door number 1. Leroy, what is door number 1, or do you not know?
Is that the Utah Utes?
I don't know. Is it?
That's what I'm going with. Yes, sir.
Leroy says it is the Utah Utes. We wait for the correct answer. 1 for 1 is Leroy.
Yes.
John, you didn't miss much. We're doing a quick show here today, but we're in logos, your favorite portion of the segment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to cue the music here. And Leroy, would you like 2 or 3 next?
The music got really slow and then sped up really quick.
Yeah, it's a remix. It's a remix version.
Oh my goodness. I feel like we're scraping like the bottom 15 teams of Division 1 now.
No.
No? Okay.
This would be classified as a P5.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I will go with...
It's not
the good old maroon condoms. I will go with... no, they're the Aztecs. Hold on.
I was very nice to when I did my editing job. I left you a little bit of a letter. I don't know that helps you anything at all.
You did. I see that.
Frankly, oh, it's right on cue. He pops up. Okay. Do we have a guess, Leroy?
I don't.
You know what that means, right?
Yes. Price is Right.
Oh. No, you just get one of those. The Price is Right is if you miss the theme. That is Little Rock. The Little Rock Trojans, Arkansas Little Rock, member of the Sun Belt Conference.
Yeah.
Everybody's making the same joke here.
Yeah, we've seen it, Dan.
Okay, you ready for door number 3?
Yes. Ooh. I think I know this one.
Really?
Yes.
I'll be honest. So I showed these to Mick last night, and we are correct in the two. This one he thought you'd get. I didn't think you would. So we'll have to see whether who is your Now I don't know that should help you or
no. I'm gonna mess up the name. But they play in Indiana, and no, it's they play at the same place that they filmed Hoosiers at. Gosh, what's their name? Oh, I'm just gonna be so mad at myself because they play in Indianapolis. Butler.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
Oh, you're going to hate yourself.
Yeah.
Correct.
I wanted to say Drake, and I knew Drake wasn't the right answer.
Butler is correct.
Yes.
Butler is correct. Justin, we're doing this just as a one-off. We wanted to bring a show for everyone this week, and our schedules didn't align other than right now.
I have basketball literally every night this week.
And I have basketball tonight, tomorrow, and then Saturday. It just had to happen right now, or it wasn't going to happen. So, Leroy, you've gotten 2 out of 3 so far, which pleasantly surprised. I'll give you that. Utah, Little Rock, and Butler. What is the theme for today's episode of Leroy's Logos?
Utah, honestly, Little Rock, and Butler.
Your audience is unhinged. Yes, no, you're not. And see, it's very tame right now because everyone's working, so it's not quite.
Yes, I can't be as loud as I normally am because there's actual people that are. I'm at work, and there's actual people that are here.
You have to be drinking iced tea right now too.
Yeah, I don't even have anything to drink right now. It's very frustrating. Let's see.
Logos out. Logos out. There you go. Daniel, I hope that's okay. I hope that's okay for Logos out today. Utah, Arkansas, Little Rock, and Butler.
Utah, Arkansas.
There you go. He approves.
I don't know the theme. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I want to help you through this.
Yeah.
This one was your main. You're not getting a point for this, but this one was your main hint.
Okay.
What do you know about Little Rock? Little Rock, Arkansas. What do you know about it?
Not too much, other than a lot of the movement was there for
even broader than that. Little Rock, Arkansas is the only city in Arkansas that can claim. Where did you say Butler was?
Indianapolis.
What's the same thing about Indianapolis and Little Rock?
They're both the capitals.
And where's Utah?
They all play in their capital.
There you go. 2 out of 4 this week, Leroy. Which now, since I've got a second monitor, I can give you your updated total of 381. So you're moving up.
Oh, good. All right.
How about a little play clock here as we're jumping into moving through these really quick? Would you like to ask or answer first?
I'll ask first.
Okay.
So Yahoo Answers has released their top 20 American. Hold on. Top 20 most popular liquor brands in America. Liquor. We're not talking beer. We're talking liquor. All right. And I'm not looking for the parent company. I'm looking for like the actual, and when you go into the store, what are you buying?
Like Jack
all
Daniels.
All I want you to do is tell me 4 that are on this list.
Oh God. So we're doing trivia instead of play clock. I don't know how I feel about this because I'll drop you up. Jack Daniels has got to be on the list. I would be shocked if it's not.
Jack is ninth. Jack is ninth.
Really? Jose Cuervo, Margaritaville. I'm trying to think of just the most basic, or what's the
Cuervo is 17th.
Cuervo, Patron.
Patron is 18th. So you got the 17th and 18th.
Okay. Absolute. Isn't that one of the Tito's? Thank you. That's the one I was trying to think of.
Absolute is 15th. You need one more.
Well, I was going to say, we'll say Tito's was one. The comment section kind of helped me on that. That was the one I was trying to think of.
Number 1. Tito's is number 1.
I was trying to.
Go ahead.
I was trying to think of the basic ones. Like the ones that everyone has.
Tito's, Smirnoff, Crown Royal, Bacardi, and Fireball are the top 5.
Oh, Fireball. Yeah.
Yes, us non-alcoholics call that cinnamon.
She's a cheater because she bartended. Yeah, no, I mean, you know what people drink, though. Okay, Leroy. I've asked you this a couple of times. Like once every couple of months, I've asked you this, and I'm going to have to bring it up again, and I'll probably bring it up again. Leroy, your chips. No, I'm kidding. The Chicago Bears have the number 1 pick officially now.
Yep.
What will they do, and what should they do with the number 1 overall pick?
What will they do? Trade it and go pick up Drake May and get 4 picks that are in round 6. No. What should they do? Again, stick with Justin Fields, give him a little bit of an extension, sign Marvin Harris or draft Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think I would absolutely listen to offers and see what other teams have. And if they blow me away with an offer, then maybe I consider it for Caleb Williams. But I only take Caleb Williams if that offer absolutely blows me away. Otherwise than that, I am drafting. My draft pick is Marvin Harrison Jr. 100%. And if I have to trade, if I have to trade back, if I can trade back and know that I'll still get MHJ, I'll do it. But it's got to be one of those things where I know that the 2 teams or teams that are ahead of me are going to pick up a quarterback.
I'm not going to mention what this comment says. I'm just going to put it up on the screen without further comments.
She's had her fun. Can we block her now?
No, I actually very much prefer when she comments instead of when Forrest was commenting a couple of weeks ago. I didn't necessarily appreciate what his comments were. Okay, I'm ready.
So a lot of the teams that have been very, very good in the playoff or in the last couple of weeks of football have not been good. Eagles have been kind of awful. 49ers have been struggling. Ravens have been really, really good, much to Daniel's chagrin. But right now, who is your pick for who is going to be in the Super Bowl? And who will win it?
Right now, the Ravens are playing the best football in the AFC, but I'm not in on Lamar. I think something is going to happen where he'll choke away a game and they won't do it. But the thing at the same time is I don't know that there's another AFC team right now because the AFC has no quarterbacks left. It's literally just Lamar, Mahomes, and whatever his team is. And then I agree with what John says here. I think the Niners are the best team in the NFC right now. And I think you're going to have a Ravens 49ers rematch in the Super Bowl, but it would not shock me. It wouldn't shock me if a team like the Bills runs through and takes down the Ravens because Lamar can't win big games. Oh no, you're back. You just disappeared for a second.
So did you.
That was okay. I'm curious to see if it was both of us or if it was just you, because I think it was just you, because I didn't move on my screen. You all of a sudden, it looked like you were getting booted, and then you pop right back out.
Everything
Weird.
disappeared for like a quarter of a second.
Yes.
No, I don't have a shitty computer. I'm literally on my phone. So that's what's going on with that.
And now we have to put an explicit rating on our podcast. Thanks, Leroy. You're even at work today in work hours, and you're doing it. Your boss would be so disappointed.
Oh, he's usually disappointed in me. It's okay.
Yes, because he doesn't have an iPhone, Christy. That's worse. That's where the issues is if he had an iPhone, he wouldn't have to worry about these things. Okay, so it was just you on your end. At least people are backing me up there. My computer's only choked once. Leroy, which rule is better when it comes to finger? Okay.
It was a finger.
You realize that's why Paul isn't here, right? He is in his therapy session each week that he has to do. He's his therapy for it.
Thursday at noon.
Yep. Every Thursday at noon. He can't do it because of that, because he is in therapy for what you did to that poor man.
When we start season 2, can we just leave that in season 1, please?
No. It's because the best part is that only like 3 people were maybe watching at that point, but it's been the ongoing thing that everyone is starting to learn the inside joke of the finger. No one knows what, like Sarah today. Sarah I don't know that has watched our show before, and if she has, I'm sorry for not remembering you, but never forget.
Shut up, Malone.
Which rule is better? When a player goes down, the NFL, when he can get back up if he's not touched, or college football, when you're down, you're down?
Boy, both of those create some very interesting scenarios, and we've seen it where it's come back to bite both teams, really. Guy falls, gets back up, and then gets hit and fumbles the ball, or guy's wide open, slips and falls. I think there was a back way before you were born where there was a game when Michigan was playing where the Michigan long snapper botched the snap and slipped and fell, and because he was holding the football, he was down. But I tend to like the NFL rule a whole lot better. I like the two. I like the I don't know. I like the NFL rule better where you can get back up again. Yeah, I think that's probably the better rule, especially if you don't get touched.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Because there are moments where you just get tackled by the turf monster, and I always kind of hate that. Then, you're just SOL when it comes to that.
Well, like I said, that Michigan game sticks in my head quite a bit from when I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I couldn't figure out why the game was over. It's because he botched the snap and landed and fell and tripped and fell.
We don't have any drivers today.
We don't. I
guess it's time now to just continue on moving our quick edition of today's show, because we both have to start continue our prep for whatever games we're doing tonight, tomorrow, and in the future. How about some picks to wrap up the week here?
Yeah.
So if you've never joined in our pick contest, I am up by 14 as we are going through the. Here you go. John, that might be a great topic for next week's show to dive deeper into. Is an eligible receiver the next new what is a catch? So if you've never joined in, each week, Leroy and I will predict a game that the other one is broadcasting. We will predict the Bengals and the Bears game. This week, our college game, I'm just making an executive decision. I think you agree. We're picking the College Football National Championship. I think that makes sense. And then that leaves us technically to get to our normal 10 points is that we can each pick 3 NFL games.
Are we
gonna do that?
Are we gonna do basketball? Taylorville and
Yes, I said that at the beginning. Yes, I think
okay,
we're gonna do that one as well.
Yep.
So if you're okay, we'll do 3.
3 NFL. Yeah,
correct. Okay,
Yep.
let's start off here. And
the Lions. Listen, the Lions tried so hard to fool the other team that they fooled the refs too.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong about that. Leroy, Grayson County tonight takes on Muhlenberg County, the Cougars of Grayson. I've got to pick this up here off the top of my head. The Cougars of Grayson are 7-5. Muhlenberg County is 4-8. I'll give you, because I'm a nice guy, I'll give you some interesting things though about this. Muhlenberg County has won 8 straight in this series, but the last 2 games at Grayson County have been Muhlenberg County winning on a buzzer beater or a last-second shot. And last year, the game down there, Muhlenberg County won in double overtime. This game, always extremely close. So, Leroy, are you predicting Grayson County or Muhlenberg County? This game is tonight.
Where's it at again?
It's in Litchfield. It's in Litch, Vegas. Just about 15 minutes from where I'm sitting. No, not even that. 12 minutes from where I'm sitting right now.
All right, I'll go with Cougars. Go Cougs.
Leroy's picking the Cougs over the Mustangs. Leroy, what is our Taylorville game of the week?
On Tuesday night, January 9th, Taylorville plays an Apollo Conference matchup. So it's a conference matchup versus their longtime rivals, the Effingham Flaming Hearts. Tornadoes come into the game 13-3. Effingham will be 15, or is 15-3. Mind you, both these teams have a couple games in between this one and Tuesday. This is their records right now. Taylorville 13-3, Effingham 15-3. Mind you, Taylorville already beat Effingham earlier this season. Taylorville won 58-46.
John, this game is with an A.
Yes, this game is at Effingham.
Okay. John, it is with an A, Grayson here. The answer is great. Yes, if it's Grayson with an E or Grayson with an A. But ironically enough, one of their leading receivers last year, his first name is Grayson with an E. So it always Grayson for Grayson. I'll pick Taylorville.
All right.
Okay. You ready for these here, Leroy?
Yes, sir.
The Cincinnati Bengals take on the Cleveland Browns in a game that means absolutely nothing at Paycor Stadium. Leroy, Bengals or Browns?
I'll be nice. I'll go with the Bengals, which means you'll probably take the Browns, won't you?
No, I'll take the Bengals. Bengals, I guess, have nothing to play for, but they have more to play for than the Browns, weirdly enough. Because the Browns are locked into their playoff spot, so nothing can really change. Leroy, the Bears travel to the Packers in what could be an opportunity for the Bears to play spoiler.
Yes,
correct?
The Lions eliminated the Packers from the playoffs last year. Thank you, Detroit. And the Bears have a chance to do the same thing this year.
I'm going to pick the Packers because it's in Lambeau.
There is rumors in Chicago that this game might be more important than people realize as far as the future of a few different coaches and a few different players. With that being said, I've really liked the slow direction that this team has been trending. #FireGetsy. And I will eat my words and cause them to lose by taking the Chicago Bears.
Can you pick the other team, though?
Absolutely not.
I was going to say.
If the Packers were 18-0 and the Bears were 0-17, and the Bears were the Bears were 0-17, the Packers were 17-0, I could not take Green Bay. No.
The College Football National Championship.
Yeah.
Leroy, Michigan takes on Washington. Who wins the national championship?
The Wolverines win, and then Mr. Harbaugh himself announces that he's going to the Raiders to be their new head coach. And then next in the next 6 months, all those wins get taken away because Michigan gets caught cheating and they forfeit all their wins. But I'm going to go with Michigan.
I agree. I'm debating on whether I start playing defensive here
Yeah.
and just start matching up so I can't lose this
That way you
contest,
can't
because you're
lose.
getting a little close. Like,
Close
I
to
had
comfort
this huge lead. Like, I jumped out to a huge lead. I was up by like 20. It's down to like 14 now. So I honestly, though, I think Michigan's going to win. I think that the running back injury for Washington is going to be a bigger story, because I don't know really what that future could hold for them. Okay, I get to pick my first NFL game that I want us to predict. And I'll go with the one that I'm the most intrigued by, as the Buffalo Bills travel to Miami to face the Dolphins. Leroy, who you taking?
Dolphins have looked bad lately. I mean,
No,
they play. I
Justin,
mean,
I don't.
they put
No,
up
I
a
don't think he's facing
stinker.
Patriots.
They put up a stinker against the Ravens, and I get it, it's Baltimore, but like they're hurt right now. And Tyreek Hill, man, I feel bad for Tyreek Hill. All the media was like shining down on him. Dude lost his house, and like they're all like zooming in from the helicopter on him and everything. Like, come on, man, guy lost his house. Leave him alone. But with that being said, I'll go with the Bills.
Ooh. Gosh, this is literally to me a 50-50 game. Because I could literally see it going either way. I'm going to take the Bills as well, just because I don't think that was there a Dolphins player that tore his Achilles? I don't know the answer to that. Does your wife know something sports that we don't?
She's pretty good. She's way better than what she lets on.
She did send me a video yesterday of Joe Burrow getting mooned. So, getting his pants pulled down during a game, which is... Oh, Bradley Chubb did. Yes, that's right. Good job, Christy. Okay, I'm going to take the Bills, though, just because Miami has struggled in these big games. They only have one win, and it's against the Cowboys, who can't play football on the road. What's your game here?
We're going to go do another NFC North matchup in a game that I thought would have way more meaning than what it actually does. Lions head on home to take on the Vikings. Congratulations to Detroit, picking up their first NFC North championship since 1993. I was 11 last time they won, and it wasn't even the North back then. We'll go with the Lions taking on the Vikings.
Neither one of these teams has anything to play for, right?
Right. Nothing. Another meaningless game. But it's always a good matchup between the two of them. So I gotta pick it.
Vikings.
Lions sit like half their players for the playoffs.
That's kind of that's the reason why I'm picking the Vikings, because they will have more reason to sit players than the Vikings will.
I'll go with Detroit just to be that guy.
Now, see, this makes me want to predict another random rear end game here. Like Denver and the Raiders. No, I'm
I looked at that. I did look at that one a little bit.
Okay, we'll go to the big one on Saturday evening, as the Houston Texans travel to face one of the most overrated teams in the NFL. I mean, do you know anybody who likes the Colts? I mean, the Bengals just...
I might know a few people. I had a friend of mine who was all worked up over the Pro Bowl because his guy didn't get in. And the thing is, we all know the Pro Bowl is just a popularity contest and it doesn't really matter. So,
who's that? John Malone. I've never heard of this guy. Leroy, you gonna pick the Fighting John Malones, or are you gonna go Texans?
Listen. The Colts need this win. CJ Stroud is healthy, but he's missing like half his team. It's in Indy. That place is going to be rocking. John, do you want the Colts to be in the playoffs? I mean, listen, it's going to give you guys a worse draft pick. If you guys make the playoffs and everything. I'll go with the Colts.
And to be the heel that I am, let's go Texans.
Boy.
I mean, the Texans
beat. I won my pay league, my fantasy football pay league.
I got third.
Thanks to the other guy's team just completely crapping the bed. I left.
See, that's what happened to me in the semis.
Huh?
That's what happened to me in the semis. See, I think Houston wins, and here's the reason why. Houston beat the Bengals with Joe Burrow. The Colts got annihilated by the Bengals with Jake Browning. I mean, it was an old-fashioned rear end kicking that happened. It was. I mean, it was bad. Leroy, your next game.
Playoffs are more fun with Minshew. Oh. Are there any real meaningful games left? I mean, we talked about the Colts being a meaningful game. Seahawks head to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. No, I tell you what we'll do. We'll go with the Buccaneers taking on the Carolina Panthers. That'll be a fun matchup in two games. There's nothing on here that matters, Sam.
Bucks need to win the division to have a chance of winning the division. Yes, so I'm going to take the Bucks.
Well, then we'll go with that one. Yeah,
I'll take the Bucks,
and I will take the Bucks as well, my friend. No point game for you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't blame you. Jacksonville struggling travels to Tennessee to take on the Titans.
Boy, they are. Jaguars really need a win, man.
The Fighting Will Levises.
That's John Malone's favorite player, by the way. John loves Will Levis.
I mean, listen, you heard me jumping on the stage for him. I was all in. Jacksonville at the Titans.
9-7 versus Tennessee. I'll go with Jacksonville.
Do I play defensive here? I'm going to play defensive. I'm not going to play defensive.
Coach Mike Vrabel says the Titans will not pack it in when they play against the Jaguars.
I'm going with my man, Will Levis, who's the best quarterback out of last year's draft. And the Colts will very much regret not drafting him over whatever the hell the other guy's name is. Richardson. Bum.
I mean, Richardson only lasted 5 weeks before he got hurt?
Yeah, right? Will Levis has been beaten, battered, and he's still up. Leroy, your final game.
Oh, gosh. I know it.
This is almost kind of fun. This is like predicting preseason.
God, it's just so awful football, man. All right, I'll go with Eagles versus the Giants. That game's on Sunday at 3:30. Eagles 11-5. Giants are 5-11. However, the Eagles have been playing like trash thanks to Matt Patricia. I mean, what?
Eagles win.
Yeah. I can't even pick the Giants. I would love to, but I can't.
Alrighty, that finalizes our picks for the week. Next week, Leroy, looking ahead to the games we get to pick along with our Grayson County games. The only games we have, it's 6 of them next week. We no longer will get to pick game, as far as we'll get to pick our high school games, but the games are decided for us. It's just the NFL playoffs every single week.
Yep. Some of our favorite time of the year, man.
Is to predict each one of the wild card games next week, and that'll probably be a lot of next week's shows. Talk about NFL playoffs. We should be back at normal time next week, right?
We are. I have nothing going on next Wednesday. So
Wednesday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, we'll be there for you to break down NFL playoffs and a whole lot more. Leroy, this has been fun, but I know we both got to run because Cougs take on Muhlenberg County tonight. And what do you have tonight?
Taylorville heads to Decatur to take on Decatur MacArthur.
Wow.
All these little private schools in the area that are going to just get absolutely smoked. Taylorville played a game on Tuesday night, and the end of the first quarter, the score was like...
Are we getting spammers here, Leroy? Did we get our first spammer? This looks like a spam. Tiffany, if you're not a spammer, comment. But that seems very spammy because I don't know what tickets you're selling for. Unless, is she selling tickets to the Decatur game tonight?
Game?
I think we just had our first spammer, Leroy. That's a great way for us to end the show.
We've made it.
We've made it.
Taylor played Williamsville on Tuesday, and the score at the end of the first half was like 53-18. So, yay. They've been really good. They've been a really good team.
Enjoy it. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone, for watching. This was a kind of a haphazard show. We appreciate you hanging out with us here at lunchtime.
Exactly. And for those that go back and listen, you missed a good one. Kind of.
Always.
We'll see you next week.